My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. All right, this is the Ontario Police Department. This is the second time they're engaged in ongoing harassment, stalking by helicopter, repeatedly sounding helicopter around me, and repeatedly pacing by crossing path. They're doing so. This is Euclid Avenue, and the people of the state are stalking with impossible light. That's impossible light that moves across the storefront, as I've documented. They're gang stalking together with the Ontario Police where I'm located, why they're flying crossing path at the storefront where I'm at, stalking where it is that I'm remaining right now. This hour, it's 2:53 in the morning, and the Ontario Police Department that is obsessed with my vagina, that is stalking me from place to place while a fake sun remains over my head, proof that they are stalking me, are at 2:53 in the morning stalking. This is why Paul Leon's being removed from office, why Alan D. WAPNER and Mike LORENZ are being removed from the positions that they hold. This is late night stalking, the waste of money on criminal conduct by demons who are obsessed, who are stalking, and it is shared by the population. The Ontario Police is being disbanded. That's impossible light activity. It has nothing to do with the headlights. That's a demon, vehicle 1024. Ontario police are a bunch of gang stalking demons. It's not a coincidence when they're flying over and they're crossing path, and that was impossible light. Again, that you are witnessing them exhibiting demon possession. So it's not a mystery, and it's also not a secret that the Ontario police that are going to be disbanded for engaging in gang stalking, those gang members are demon possessed, and they're engaged in late night stalking. They are also obsessed with my vagina. They are possessed with the Jezebel spirit. That's why they're perverts. Okay? That's why they're engaged in stalking me in bathrooms. That's why they're up at 2:50 in the morning stalking me on Euclid Avenue in Ontario. This is P.O.C. This is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department. Sex offenders are not going to be in law enforcement. Stalkers are not going to be in law enforcement. Kidnappers that are engaging in gang stalking shall be disbanded. And this is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department. This is P.O.C. It is currently 2:55 a.m. And this is the impossible light activity where the people of the state are gang stalking with that police department. That's also why they're being disbanded. This is lawlessness. This is public corruption. Demons that are stalking together. Okay, the turn signal is a means of light activity in the engineered light. Okay, these are demons, and the Ontario Police Department are demon possessed, just like the rest of these demons that are stalking all day long where I'm at, sitting in a library all day long, keeping somebody under surveillance. This is criminal conduct that they engage in with the police department that's going to cease to exist. P.O.C. All right, it's 6:26 a.m. and the entity is continuously sounding ongoing, inexplicable rumbling noise. The entity is doing so it's the maintenance of audible activity. So the entity is doing so while the people of the state are pacing on Euclid Avenue. The amplified rumbling noise is audible activity amongst what is engineered light, while the entity has a fake sun. It's currently 6:26 a.m. And the entity, including the City of Ontario, is maintaining this audible noise while the people of the state, license 33837C2, are stalking in the path, being at Gloria's Cochinas. And the entity is maintaining the elements of monitoring, including while they are in the path. And there's the inexplicable sound of just rumbling noise in the background. And that's what I'm capturing the audible noise of. And it's ongoing, continuous audible noise. And the entity is doing so while this is where the fake sun is also in alignment to me, where I'm located at 415 North Euclid Avenue. The entity is maintaining the elements of monitoring for the gang stalking purposes of the people of the state that are in the path. Where I'm seated right here on the sidewalk, where the people of the state are at Gloria's Cochinas, sweeping, dragging, trash can, just present, in other words, because even a third party that's just standing next to me or walking by are maintaining presence in the path where the entity is engaging in the elements of monitoring. The people of the state are driving in engineered light, and the entity is engaging in what is providing ongoing audible noise in the environment. It is reminiscent of the sound of plane engines, actually. Less any plane flying over. Okay, so just engaging in the same audible noise of planes rumbling, which is not going to be the result of flying, like arriving, landing, or taking off from the airport. It's also not going to occur under any other circumstance other than, like I've stated, you see the planes, and it is the evidence of what is stalking under all circumstances. And it is also the evidence of what is amplification of audible activity. The entity is targeting in the locations where they are hovering in the sky space, flying miles away from the airport to then be at a lower elevation and then engaging in some unintelligent replication of some sort of takeoff from the middle of the after taking off from miles away. Under all circumstances, it's the entity that's maintaining the elements of monitoring. And by the way, the entity is maintaining the sound of planes in the absence of any planes flying over, which is not going to happen when planes are, again, from the airport sounding all the way over here. It's just the entity maintaining noise. It's a method of noise, and the people of the state are in the path. It's currently 6:29 p.m. The City of Ontario also maintaining audible activity by using the dumpster truck to empty the plastic trash cans on the sidewalk, which is the maintenance of light activity and also loud noise. The entity is doing so where the entity is maintaining the ongoing elements of monitoring as well. This is the P.O.C. I've seen the City of Ontario emptying these plastic garbages, and these demons today have the City of Ontario, which, again, the entity will do whatever with regard to the elements of monitoring. And then as I document, even if they never did it, they'll do it from then on because I documented it. But nonetheless, I'm speaking to what is the elements of monitoring. So it is Saturday, August 9, 2025 at 6:30 a.m. And at what is my presence where I'm located, this is where the entity is maintaining the elements of monitoring, and wherever I am in the morning, that's where the sun will rise, okay? It is the P.O.C. Even if it is, for example, occurring, even if I were across the street from the airport, at 2500 Airport Drive and across the street from that location, understand that the elements of monitoring still remains underway. Analyzing the method of audible noise is getting to the impropriety of what the entity is doing with commercial planes that are clearly not engaged in merely landing at the airport and taking off from the airport. That's why you go into that. It is the elements of monitoring under all circumstances, especially where the entity is necessarily deviating from any arrival or landing from the airport to be where I am throughout the City of Ontario, and always perpetually rising in elevation, hovering in the sky space when you're supposed to be taking off from that airport, and doing donuts, just flying in alignment to me and doing donuts in the opposite direction. The entity's stalking with commercial planes, period. And that's also established through the specific environment. Okay, so whether I'm across the street from the airport, which is still going to be the elements of monitoring, It doesn't change because I'm across the street. It's just different in that the entity's not deviating from flying miles away from the airport in order to be like where I would be now off of Euclid Avenue, where the entity is sounding plane engines, sounding something reminiscent to plane engines, rumbling planes, when there's no plane activity that's going to be heard regarding what's happening at the Ontario International Airport. Okay, so it's the maintenance of noise. And so I just wanted to go into that. It's currently 6:32 a.m. And again, like I stated, it's Saturday, August 9th, 2025. This is P.O.C. All right, that's impossible light activity. Oh, you see the shadow of the vehicles reaching all the way across. This is walking in engineer light, driving in engineer light, the maintenance of the sound of plane engines in engineer light, and here's the fake sun. And the entity is doing so. You can see my shadow that's appearing on the opposite side. I'm facing the fake sun, and here's my shadow appearing on the trash can. This is the pattern of conduct of stalking with light. And it's also in engineer light while you are driving. They're driving in engineer light that's floating in the air while the fake sun's on the driver's side of the vehicle, and their shadow of the vehicles reaching all the way across over here. They're all driving in engineer light. This is the city of Ontario that's monitoring. ARCO is monitoring. Chevron is monitoring. Starbucks is monitoring. Those are the venues that are open. But the reality is every single last business is monitoring. This is the P.O.C. All right, while there are lanes on the opposite side, their shadows of the vehicles are moving across the sidewalk. That's impossible light activity. It's demonic. That's entirely demonic. And the entity is maintaining the sound reminiscent of plane engines with this audible activity and engineered light. It is currently 6:36 a.m. And the entity is maintaining this light source that is keeping in perfect alignment with where I am located here. The entity is engaging in this is located at 415 North Euclid Avenue. And you are also paying attention. This is where the entity is stalking by helicopter, where the fake sun rises, which is evidence of targeting. This is where I showed you the entity was stalking by helicopter, and where on the sidewalk I had multiple shadows, which is not caused by street lamps. This is the pattern of conduct during the day and at nightfall, where the entity is engaging in that P.O.C. It is currently 6:37 a.m. That's impossible light activity. While you are, again, aisles away, and the shadow of whatever it is, what activity that you are doing is affecting me at a great distance. That's the same with the audible activity of what demons are doing. That's the same with the light activity of what demons are doing. 8XUB 45, 8XUB 845. This is P.O.C. This is the pattern of conduct, and this is the maintenance of engineer light. Okay, and this is my shadow that's appearing on the opposite side of the sidewalk while I'm looking at the fake sun. This is impossible light activity that they're all driving in, monitoring in. P.O.C. It is 6:38 a.m. License 7HWX195 at 506 North Euclid Avenue, Chevron, under the fake sun, and this is audible activity monitoring by the venue. 506 North Euclid Avenue, the fake sun is over me while I'm inside a Starbucks at 11:54 a.m. where I'm documenting the fake sun at this same location where I'm inside a Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, which is right across the street, where Chevron is engaging in the P.O.C. 7XIY347 59245G3, and that's ongoing audible noise and engineer light. And that is license plates. Let's see, 4F17311. This is the pattern of conduct. I believe it is June 4th, 2025 at 11:54 a.m. The fake sun right now while I'm at the Chevron, while I'm inside of Starbucks on June 4th, 2025 at 11:54 a.m. through the windows of the Starbucks that I am facing right now at 6:42 a.m. So that would be 7, 8, 9, 10, 5 hours later. The Ontario Police Department are gang stalking while they are stalking in the path at this Chevron, this same Chevron, and at 11:54 a.m. the fake sun is over my head at this same address, which is the Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where I'm looking at the fake sun, and I'm also looking at the passive-aggressive and psychopathic and delusional behavior of the Ontario police, who are gang stalking at this address while the fake sun is over me at the Starbucks that I'm looking at right now at 6:42 a.m. while I'm under the fake sun and the entity is monitoring at this same Chevron. That's engaging in criminal summoning while the Ontario police are standing on this property and the fake sun is over me at Starbucks, which is across the street from this property, as though the sun would 5 hours from now be in the same position to maintain that sort of positioning. That's understanding the P.O.C. It's currently 6:43 a.m. Again, that's documentation captured on June 4, 2025, P.O.C. License 88853J3, 7MXM432, 6RMB403. These are the people that state monitoring at the ARCO across the street, including, let's see, license plate. Oh, he sells snacks in there. Really. 7ESW535. It's 6:49 a.m. Remember, the entity is keeping the fake sun while I'm at Metro 102 Apartments, which is located off of B Street, and it's a very specific placement in that parking lot where United Airlines, FedEx, Southwest Airlines, and UPS are using commercial planes hovering over the roof of that apartment complex, and in that parking lot, not going beyond what is B Street to keep in alignment with me is documented on video and in images, the fake sun. I am what is north of that address, and the fake sun is remaining in alignment to me here, where the entity is maintaining audible activity through, this is where you're understanding, recognizing the pattern of conduct. The specific environment which is following as I go to whatever location. This would be the natural environment and nothing suspect if the fake sun continued rising at Economy Inn at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, and this person was engaging in landscaping, the use of the wind blower, the air blower, or the leaf blower rather, and the presence of the customers at ARCO, and traffic on Euclid Avenue, and the maintenance of normal light activity where my shadow's not appearing both in front and behind me, and their shadows of the vehicles aren't appearing across the entirety of the roadway onto the sidewalk, onto the edge of the building in order to cross path with me, touch my person. If none of those circumstances coexisted, then this would be a perfectly natural environment where you could reasonably assume that there is absolutely nothing suspect and that there is no evidence to suggest any sort of targeting, monitoring. But this is not the case, because the fake sun is remaining over me and the fake sun is not moving in real time while I'm on Omnitrans Route 83 going in the direction north up Euclid Avenue into the city of Upland. Because the fake sun is not at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, and it's not going to be visible. I'm not going to be able to stand in that parking lot in a natural environment and capture that sun like I did on video at 7:16 in the morning, where that fake sun never deviated and left at any point in the day while the entity is absent the documentation of covering up the fake sun, which is not evidence of removal of that specific environment. It's evidence of monitoring evidence. That's what it is. It's evidence of ongoing surveillance and violation of Title 18. And like I stated, what they cover up on one day, I will get it the next day. Or I'll get it even in 7 minutes. The demons are engaging in monitoring evidence. These are delusional psychopaths who are obsessed, and there is no ducking and dodging the pattern of conduct. License plate 78JR952. And that's because they are obsessed with monitoring in that specific environment. And it is as obvious as wearing a costume that says, "Arrest me." I'm a federal stalker. All right. License 9LVR315, Allied Universal. That's what the evidence of the fake sun shows. Arrest me. I'm a terrorist. I'm monitoring. Okay. So anyway, the entity is maintaining this light source at that Starbucks, which is what I'm facing, 6NTR147, and the entity is doing so while I am on the property of, like I analyzed, the Chevron at 506 North Euclid Avenue, where the fake sun is over me at that venue, while I am looking at the same Chevron hours from what I'm documenting during the 6 a.m. hour. At the 11 a.m. hour, the sun is not going to be on the same street, including across the street from the Chevron, looking at the venue that I'm sitting inside of at 11:42 in the morning. That's 507 North Euclid Avenue. That's Starbucks, who is gang stalking while the fake sun is over me, and a demon is using as a method of audible activity a leaf blower in a specific environment. It is also recognizing the pattern of conduct because the fake sun is remaining over me in Monrovia, California. Out my hotel room at Courtyard by Marriott, off of the in Pasadena, Monrovia area. So I am documenting the maintenance of that specific environment, same day, same time of year, and yet the entity is engaged in this conduct, which is very specific. It's very specific, and that's why I document it, because it's capturing the crime scene where the entity is engaging in that pattern of conduct. And it's also very obvious when you're at the crime scene at 6:45 in the morning and you go back to that crime scene at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you have the same circumstance of the sun being over you, which is speaking to the exclusivity and the removal of that one sun in a natural environment that is compared to a gaseous ball of fire that's in constant movement and is also supposed to be at some point in the day, if not for the duration of the day, in Florida as well, which is speaking to what we are all cognizant of and no longer ignorant about, removing an illusion about what is impossible to be the natural environment and what is not coexisting amongst for everyone in this country at the same time. Nor at any point of the day are we all observing the same angle in the sky regarding the sun, no matter whether you're stationary at one address or whether you're traveling, no matter what state you're in, no matter what address you're at, no matter the latitude and longitude, the ecological location where you are. That is not the case, and it's absurd. It's totally absurd what the demon-possessed are doing in the environment that they do it, and it's also very obvious. License plate monitoring with the City of Ontario, license 9JZN008, maintaining aerial surveillance, stalking the sky space, and that would be Delta Airlines. That is at 6:55 a.m. while I am approaching the Ontario Town Square. All right, so I'll go ahead and take a picture of that so you can see what it is that I'm narrating in real time. It moves quickly. There we go. And I'll show you the fake sun that's no longer over a Chevron. It's at the OVITT Family Community Library, which is where the fake sun is present right now. And you know that the OVITT Family Community Library is where the fake sun was present yesterday evening, where the Ontario International Airport were maintaining the elements of monitoring, recognizable in an environment where the sun is present. What is 12 hours from now, because after 6 p.m., after 5 p.m., it was 5:58 when I walked out, and the Ontario police are stalking my helicopter, and the Ontario International Airport is maintaining flight over this Ontario Town Square, hovering over it, maintaining plane activity as though you're flying from the airport perpetually throughout the city, hovering, engaging in an ongoing perpetual takeoff stance, and then deciding at the OVITT Family Community Library area that you're going to rise in elevation there. That also happens to be wherever that decision is made. That also happens to be where the fake sun is at, and where the fake sun is still here at the Ontario Town Square OVITT Family Community Library after 6 p.m. That's where Delta Airlines is crossing path while a third party is driving on the roads and the highways right in front of me, crossing paths, stalking in the presence, sharing in what is surrounding, engaging in surveillance together as an entity. All right, it is currently 6:57 a.m. and as I'm documenting, I'm present in the specific environment. And this is also, again, as obvious as putting on a costume and stating, here I am, arrest me. I am a federal stalker. I'm monitoring. That's how obvious the crime scene of gang stalking is for the demons who are engaged in that pattern of conduct, for the public officials, for the corrupt departments, every level of government that's engaged in that P.O.C, which is happening in the specific environment. It's 6:57 a.m. I am at the Ontario Town Square. It's Saturday, August 9, 2025. P.O.C. Omnitrans, which is headed in the direction south. At 7 a.m. is crossing path with the amplified sound of plane activity, which is centered around my location, and Omnitrans is crossing path. This is the corrupt business practices of a business that is gang stalking while simultaneously making money. This is profiting, conducting a business in furtherance of criminal monitoring. This is relevant to the racketeering. They're engaging in what is impossible light activity as well. In doing so, crossing path, they're creating impossible light activity while they drive in the engineer light, while they are engaging in what is the provision of transportation services. They're driving under the fake sun, which is the case. I've documented Omnitrans gang stalking me while I'm on the bus. This is how I have the fake sun documentation on that bus. But then when I am stationary, you're looking at the evidence of the fake sun sitting over the location where Omnitrans is crossing path, and there is no sun that's going to remain through their windows of that bus, meaning the passengers are not experiencing the same specific environment that I am. The passengers are gang stalking me in that specific environment which surrounds me, and as I get off of that bus, Omnitrans is the facilitating venue that continues, and that fake sun remains where I am. That is contrasted with Omnitrans crossing path while the entity crosses path over the venue with commercial plane amplified in volume, and Omnitrans is creating impossible light activity in doing so. That is targeting as well at 7:02 a.m. This is P.O.C. Omnitrans, that's Route 83 headed in the direction south at 7 a.m. P.O.C. Okay, that's plane activity. While the entity is maintaining the fake sun, traffic on Euclid Avenue is crossing path. These are demons that are stalking me specifically with knowledge of who I am. That's why the fake sun is present. That's why the impossible light activity coexists with demons who are patrolling on the roads and the highways, engaging in surveillance with the government. That's flying over with commercial plane at 7:02 a.m. It's 7:03 a.m. right now. And remember what these airlines are doing at 6 o'clock in the evening, where you've already seen them doing it, them being United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, UPS Airlines, gangs, etc., that are gang stalking over this same Ontario Town Square. In fact, I reminded you about that when they did it yesterday evening, about what they're doing at the exact same address where I'm at now, where the fake sun is present in the morning, where the fake sun is necessarily the same object, which is evidence, direct evidence, not mysterious evidence, not circumstantial evidence, not just relevant evidence, or not evidence that's going to be disregarded either in the prosecution of the entirety of the city of Ontario, the government that's engaging in surveillance, in the obvious and demonic manner of having a sun that is at the Ontario Town Square now, and it is also remaining at the Ontario Town Square, like I documented less than 24 hours ago in the evening upon my exit of the OVITT Family Community Library, where the fake sun is present in my path, blaring, okay, bright and shiny, hovering as low as the building, and the entity is keeping that fake sun after 6 p.m. where the population you hear in the background is stalking. It is 7:04 a.m. This is federal stalking that the Ontario International Airport is engaging in with the people of the state. P.O.C. All right, the entity is pacing. The demon that you see in the purple Lakers hoodie, he is stalking. He's walking in engineered light while the entity is maintaining ongoing amplified plane activity. It is as pathetic as the duo gang stalking by taking up my idea while the entity is monitoring me by having a picnic next to me in impossible light activity in the evening yesterday under the fake sun at this same address, 224 North Euclid Avenue. This is where the entity is again clearly disregarding and not concerned. That is speaking to the threat to American citizens and the true affections that American citizens and the government has toward being terrorists toward American citizens, having terroristic sentiments towards the Constitution, towards enforcement of your rights, which is constitutional, and engaging in what is resisting this un-American and criminal conduct of gang stalking, which is this is evidence. You're witnessing that while the entity is monitoring in an obvious manner. The fake sun is still here 10 hours later. Okay, the entity is monitoring evidence. It is very obvious and no mystery. The entity has failed also in what you should know has been a satanic sacrifice, and you have a population of people that have sacrificed themselves, just as a note. But with regard to a prosecution, there is the absence of any defense. In fact, there is no mystery or controversy here. The case is already proven, and you're witnessing terrorism by terrorists who are under no circumstances exhibiting no qualms, in other words, with being openly gang stalkers, domestic terrorists in this country. And that's relevant to the demons that are engaging in the P.O.C. under the fake sun in the morning. And they know very well, and whether they know it or not is not relevant. Oh, but the entity that's monitoring is monitoring the evidence. And so these terrorists, who you're going to know by name and position, you're going to know them by community, you're going to know them specifically by identification, you're going to know them by business, etc. They are communicating, and the fact that they have no qualms whatsoever being a terrorist, being a sex offender, being an enemy of the United States. This is what I want you to be mindful of, in the same way that they are exhibiting that same comfort with being a sex offender and sharing with the world whose vagina they're obsessed with, and it is mine. Okay, they're engaged, and that is Erica Lorraine Spencer. The sex offenders that are gang stalking are those who are sharing obsession, including businesses that are engaged in that P.O.C. at an address where the fake sun is present 11 hours later, and engaging in that in the face of that evidence. They're literally listening to me refer to that evidence, and the entity is engaging in that. That is speaking to what is necessarily removing terrorists like the Ontario International Airport, who have no qualms engaging in terrorism, psychological torture, the wasting of resources, manpower, hours, corruption that's inherent to that, stalking, and those unheard of methods, which is relevant to what is unlawful, corrupt conduct, which is also un-American. It's also unconstitutional and inhumane. And it is also relevant that the entity is doing so. This is the government that's using a whole airport and airlines that are also a threat to American citizens. And it is in the interest of the American public that Ontario International Airport be shut down altogether, especially when you are cognizant, paying attention to right now what the entity is communicating, having no qualms whatsoever with being that terrorist, being that stalker, or being that one engaging in psychological torture and unlawful conduct, doing so in an environment amongst evidence and in a manner that is no mystery whatsoever. The entity is doing so while they are exposed and engaging in that ongoing continuation in the face of that exposure, having no regard whatsoever. That's what you're getting, no regard whatsoever for law, for the safety and rights of others, while they are maintaining position in public office, maintaining venues where it is very important that you abide by the law and the rights of others, and not engaging in corrupt and psychologically harmful and demented things such as stalking using commercial planes, which also is inherently wasteful and corrupt with regard to the use of expenditures that the mayor and the president of the mayor pro tem, the president of the airport authority, is very much aware of. Alan D. WAPNER. This is all of the above is relevant to the obvious stalking conduct, and no sane person would provide that level of evidence against themselves when they are anticipating being in federal court. These are demons that are more obsessed with me than they are with the consequences that are not far off. Aside from the fact that the entity has sacrificed itself to demons who are going to cash in on what they were not able to deliver, and that is me. Because I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to prosecute the demons, and you're going to witness what is the consequences of engaging in what is making contracts, bartering with Satan, with demonic spirits that are going to look for what is a sacrifice in response to what they were not able to hand over, which is Erica Lorraine Spencer. And that is relevant to the unlawful, that's the conspiracy to commit murder. The entity is doing so in ways that are, for example, just the loss of life, but you're talking about what is murder committed by an entity that's gang stalking, and typically doing it with no hands. Having a body that disappears, mysterious circumstances of a disappearance, this is murder committed by the entity. Having what is a loss of life and then falsely depicting the character, stating that the target individual committed suicide while they were murdered by the entity. That is the entity that's engaging in what is homicide, murder as an entity, where they're gang stalking. The entity is not engaging in any car accidents with the targeted individual where you're engaging in surveillance. There's no such thing. There's no car accidents. There's no acts of negligence. There's no any sort of oversight regarding the very specific and hovering and, as you see, obsessive stalking, expensive stalking tactics of the government that are acting as a population. This is the entity that engaged in that. And this is where the entity is engaged in that P.O.C. It is 7:12 a.m. Remember, the entity is keeping the fake Senate economy in. where ongoing monitoring in the following manner is documented. This is the entity that's engaging in ongoing donuts. All right, this is donuts while they are flying in the path and engaging in what is flying to get in alignment with my person and then making a U-turn, as opposed to maintaining flights directly across the Ontario Town Square where I would easily be able to capture video, but the entity is still engaging in harassment, psychological torture, and the criminal elements of monitoring. And also, it's also a federal offense to facilitate gang stalking, which what the UPS is doing, while the audible activity is amplified in volume, and they are stalking in the path, and obviously doing so having nothing to do with landing at the Ontario International Airport at 2500 Airport Drive, nor taking off from the airport, the Ontario International Airport at 2500 Airport Drive, when they are hovering in the sky space to get into alignment with my person. And at this location in alignment with my person is where they are then making a U-turn, doing a donut, and flying back in the opposite path, which I'm capturing that pattern throughout the city of Ontario, which is gang stalking, stalking in the path that's relevant positioning, audible activity, and the engineer light. And this is where the entity is keeping the fake sun, where they are stalking with commercial planes, and doing so as I'm documenting Southwest Airlines doing so at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm documenting United Airlines doing so, Amazon Prime doing so at 10 o'clock in the morning at this same address. I'm documenting it where the fake sun is right here at after 6 o'clock in the evening, where I'm standing on the opposite side of this same clock, where the demons are gang stalking by having a picnic in engineered light, where light is manifesting in the shade. This is where the fake sun is present at 7:13 in the morning. And bigger picture is that this is not in the parking lot of Economy Inn, which is adjacent to the 60 freeway, where the people of the state are gang stalking on the roads and the highways, where a fake sun remains idle over me and is not remaining in the windows of their vehicles everywhere that they're driving, while the fake sun remains stationary. It is not at the same time over 2301 South Euclid Avenue, where the Ontario International Airport is also on video gang stalking. They're flying south. That is UPS in particular flying south over that hotel, where this is ongoing gang stalking at the Ontario Town Square at 224 North Euclid Avenue. It's currently 7:14 a.m. This is P.O.C, where the demons are gang stalking using commercial planes by walking around. These are demons pacing in engineer light. It's not the sun, nor is it sunlight, while the fake sun is still here 11 and 12 hours from now, and engineer light is covering all the ground still. Engineer light is underneath that amphitheater. The entity is gang stalking in every manner, maintaining the elements of monitoring. Okay, that's P.O.C. And these are sex offenders that share in a sex offense, engaging in sexual violence as a population, engaging in expensive, unheard of, demented, and extreme methods of surveillance. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct where the Ontario police are gang stalking as I'm walking out of the OVITT Family Community Library, which is right there, where the fake sun is right here, adjacent to the parking garage as I stand at that entrance. 11 hours from now, the sun is not going from this location at the Ontario Town Square to this location in front of me. This is speaking to surveillance that the Ontario International Airport, the gang stalking airlines, the gang stalking Mayor Pro Tem Alan D. WAPNER are engaging in. This is P.O.C. All right, capturing video of what it is that I'm documenting and the demons that are gang stalking with the impunity that you are noting, that you are mindful of, which is speaking to a threat that the airlines, who are enemies to this country, making money off of American citizens, wanting you to spend your money, wanting you to risk your life by even being aboard their planes, when you are aware of the fact that they're maniacal, demon-possessed, gang-stalking psychopaths who are wildly corrupt, engaging in targeting American citizens, psychologically torturing them, and then also wanting you to disassociate that same airline with terrorism and conspiring to murder American citizens, and want you to pay blindly a fee to get on their planes and not think that you're risking your life by having demons who are murderers, co-conspirators to murder and domestic terrorism in this country, like your life is not at risk there. This is what the entity is communicating while they're gang stalking me, and I'm documenting it. And it's currently 7:16 a.m. where the fake sun's over the Ontario Town Square, and I documented the fake sun over me at Economy Inn. I documented the fake sun at this venue at 6 in the evening yesterday. This is the pattern of conduct where gang stalking is underway by the city of Ontario using commercial planes, by the people of the state on the roads and the highways, by the people of the state surrounding me at this Ontario Town Square, where using what is present at the venue and at any venue around, living in relevant position, the 280 North Lemon Apartments, the Metro 102 Apartments,
being in relevant position, working in relevant position, Wells Fargo at 240 North Euclid Avenue, going to use the ATM, which is gang stalking by the entity that's coming into the path, engaging in a transaction, which is no deterrence with regard to recognizing the same criminal stalking. The entity is engaging in this as an entity at 7:17 a.m. This is documented. This is the entity that's engaging in ongoing donuts. All right, this is donuts while they are flying in the path and engaging in what is flying to get in alignment with my person and then making a U-turn, as opposed to maintaining flights directly across the Ontario Town Square where I would easily be able to capture video. The entity is still engaging in harassment, psychological torture, and the criminal elements of monitoring. And also, it's also a federal offense to facilitate gang stalking, which what the UPS is doing, while the audible activity is amplified in volume and they are stalking in the path, and obviously doing so having nothing to do with landing at the Ontario International Airport at 2500 Airport Drive, nor taking off from the airport, the Ontario International Airport at 2500 Airport Drive, when they are hovering in the sky space to get into alignment with my person. And at this location in alignment with my person is where they are then making a U-turn, doing a donut, and flying back in the opposite path, which I'm capturing that pattern throughout the city of Ontario, which is gang stalking in the path. It's relevant positioning, audible activity, and the engineer light. And this is where the entity is keeping the fake sun, where they are stalking with commercial planes, and doing so as I'm documenting Southwest Airlines doing so at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm documenting United Airlines doing so, Amazon Prime doing so at 10 o'clock in the morning at this same address. I'm documenting it where the fake sun is right here at after 6 o'clock in the evening, where I'm standing on the opposite side of this same clock, where the demons are gang stalking by having a picnic in engineered light, where light is manifesting in the shade. This is where the fake sun is present at 7:13 in the morning. And bigger picture is that this is not in the parking lot of Economy Inn, which is adjacent to the 60 freeway, where the people of the state are gang stalking on the roads and the highways, where a fake sun remains idle over me and is not remaining in the windows of their vehicles everywhere that they're driving, while the fake sun remains stationary. It is not at the same time over 2301 South Euclid Avenue, where the Ontario International Airport is also on video gang stalking. They're flying south. That is UPS in particular flying south over that hotel, where this is ongoing gang stalking at the Ontario Town Square at 224 North Euclid Avenue. It's currently 7:14 a.m. This is P.O.C, where the demons are gang stalking using commercial planes by walking around. These are demons pacing in engineer light. It's not the sun, nor is it sunlight, while the fake sun is still here 11 and 12 hours from now, and engineer light is covering all the ground still. Engineer light is underneath that amphitheater. The entity is gang stalking in every manner, maintaining the elements of monitoring. Okay, that's P.O.C. And these are sex offenders that share in a sex offense, engaging in sexual violence as a population, engaging in expensive, unheard of, demented, and extreme methods of surveillance. Okay? This is the pattern of conduct where the Ontario police are gang stalking as I'm walking out of the OVITT Family Community Library, which is right there, where the fake sun is right here, adjacent to the parking garage as I stand at that entrance. 11 hours from now, the sun is not going from this location at the Ontario Town Square to this location in front of me. This is speaking to surveillance that the Ontario International Airport, the gang stalking airlines, the gang stalking Mayor Pro Tem Alan D. Wapner are engaging in. This is P.O.C. (9:57 a.m.) Southwest Airlines gang stalking flying over, stalking me. The fake sun is moving from the Ontario Town Square where it's been seated over me at the same wall at the by the large clock, where it was, by the way, after 6 p.m. yesterday. Southwest Airlines is gang stalking as I capture the demons under the covered structure of the entrance at the OVIT, and there's no fake sun there. It will be there as I arrive at the entrance. License 9PHH659 is also stalking, 8JUT805, 9GCF045, and they've been engaged in stalking crossing path. License 9EPV875, a demon, stalked with impossible light, 8XRN182, 9HBR065, this is a male, stalking, engaging in surveillance at the Ontario Town Square, BV879 handicap, 9PAH446, 9CPFU735. Remember, the entity is keeping the fake sun over Economy Inn at 10:02 a.m. like I'm documenting. The fake sun, 9:45 a.m. over the staircase right where my room is as I go downstairs and Ontario police are stalking. You'll see the fake sun, which is necessarily over the 280 North Limit Apartments, which could not at the same time be over
Economy Inn at 231 South Euclid Avenue, which is on Euclid Avenue, and it is south of this location while it's reflecting off of this gang stalker's windshield. Okay, license plate 5WDK549. You'll see that in the images captured. It's currently 9:59 a.m. 8 PPG 572 23752G2. 18131 9 AUS 278. And do not forget, this is where Securitas engaged in criminal summoning with the Ontario Police Department. I'm going to show you the state stalking by plane, monitoring with the people of the state, license 9GCF045, license 7GUZ560. Demons that are gang stalking in possible light moves across the senior citizen complex, while the state, you'll see in the images, stalking in the sky space using a smaller government plane, no amplification. All right, the entity is crossing path. I've captured video of these demons driving on this same street, by the way, including the Ontario Police at 4 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon. But nonetheless, I've also captured the impossible light dragging across this apartment building, which is impossible light. It's the pattern of conduct, though. It's what's happening inside a Starbucks while the demons are stalking while they're driving on Euclid Avenue, and impossible light fills Starbucks. That's what they're doing. 69867M3. This is P.O.C. This is terrorism by the demons that are going to be prosecuted. You're going to federal prison. You call the police. You're going to federal prison as you arrive as the police gang stalking. You're being disbanded as you engage in kidnapping while gang stalking. License 82A95R, Arizona. You're going to federal prison for engaging in what is defaming my character while I'm being gang stalked. And you're counting on being able to steal my property through my death, conspiring my death. I'm going to prosecute you with regard to a federal RICO case while you're gang stalking under any company name. This is the entity that's going to be subject to an entirely comprehensive federal prosecution while the demons are engaging in an identical pattern of conduct. License plate 9FTS720. Now you have amplification, impossible audible activity by a demon that's stalking in the path. This is what Southwest Airlines is engaging in, and the fake sun is going to be over the entrance as I arrive at the entrance of the OVITT Family Community Library, where it's still present at 3, 4, and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. These are all demons. And they're all holding hands of children, by the way. License 7GOZ203. These psychopaths and sex offenders monitoring my vagina are clutching the hands of children while they're engaging in gang stalking at the same time. It's not the appearance of innocence and normalcy. It's exposing the threat that the demon-possessed psychopaths who are domestic terrorists, license 6EVL843, that they pose to children while they train them up, rear them up to be predators, rear them up to be terrorists, gang stalking with the government. They're engaging in domestic terrorism with children. That's the people of the state. The fake sun will be over the entrance now, like it wasn't while these demons are all gang stalking me with their children. That's P.O.C. It's 10:01 a.m. And how much is it to get a replacement library card?
It's $1.
$1. Okay.
Did you want one or not today?
No, not today.
Okay. All right, there you are.
Thank you. That's
You're welcome.
temporary card. So, what does the temporary card date section mean? It doesn't mean anything?
No, you can keep it as long as you want.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's your name?
Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Oh, what's your name, ma'am?
Liz.
Hi, Liz. Thank you. Have a good day. All right, they are gang stalking as employees of the state, the city of Ontario. Impossible light activity flashing all behind that circulation desk. They're monitoring while monitoring under the fake sun and an engineer light and with all the demons who are inside of the library. It's 10:12 a.m. That's Malice. This is P.O.C. And those two defendants are engaging in the current sex offense underway in the private space at 10:14 a.m., replete with amplified audible noise inside of that space. All right, with a third party lurking in the private space. P.O.C. All right, it's currently 8:18 p.m. and the pattern of conduct is always underway, requiring the malice and the corrupt population, who are the people of the state, to engage in the ongoing domestic terrorism and psychological torture program that is underway while the people of the state are gang stalking. I just want to document the City of Ontario is maintaining the facilitating venue of the Ontario Town Square located at 224 North Euclid Avenue. The City of Ontario that is gang stalking by planes is the prosecution of the City of Ontario at this venue. That's a prosecution of the venue, and it is also the prosecution of MULE, okay? The facilitating venue that is also monitoring with the City of Ontario. That is where the entity is engaging in criminal monitoring with the Ontario International Airport, where Delta Airlines, Amazon Prime, UPS, FedEx, United Airlines, Alaska Airlines, etc. are all sharing in criminal monitoring, as I'm documenting the Ontario International Airport, maintaining open surveillance, okay? And it's open because the government is openly engaging in surveillance, which it is aware that is being published online, and this is speaking to the unprecedented and unconstitutional conduct by the United States government that is published on the internet, that's going to be prosecuted in court, and the world is witnessing the United States government's attitude toward being exposed as domestic terrorists, which is contrary to what the United States government represents about ourselves on the international stage. Nonetheless, this is an American citizen that is exposing the United States government, that is terrorizing its own citizen, and you're witnessing the attitude of that United States government while it's no longer kept as a secret, okay? Mule Cart at 204 North Euclid Avenue is sharing in that corruption, sharing in what is stalking me, monitoring me with the government that's providing evidence against everybody by stalking in the environment with commercial planes and the people of the state who are openly engaging in terrorism, which everybody knows that California is engaged in state surveillance on the roads and the highways, and that it's not traffic, okay? And that everybody having a vehicle in the state of California is not based on the construction of this state. It's based on the fact that the demon-possessed live here, and they're engaging in surveillance through the maintenance of the roads and the highways and traffic on the roads and the highways. And that they're also demons, and it's a threat to your life while you're surrounded by demons using dangerous machines who are gang stalking with the government. But nonetheless, I want to document a couple of facts. The entity, the City of Ontario, engaging in what is criminal summoning and doing so pursuant to monitoring evidence. This is also relevant to the impunity of the United States government while an American citizen exposes it for terrorizing its own citizens. At 7:19 p.m., this is the same time that I'm publishing the podcast, which I'm under surveillance on the venue of the internet, which is letting you know that you are under surveillance on the internet, and so are all of our communication devices. So the City of Ontario, that is the entity sounding sirens, that includes the Ontario Fire Department, the police department, and American Medical Response is contracted with the cities, and it's going to be prosecuted because the contract does not consist of what is psychological torture, surveillance, and the most demented means, the absurdly psychopathic means of stalking, which demons that are AMTs are engaging in, using ambulances with the logo, the company AMR, American Medical Response, on them. This is what the entity is doing at the time that I'm publishing the podcast today on August 9, 2025. It is 7:19 p.m. And the entity is engaging in what is criminal summoning at the Ontario Town Square. The entity is simultaneously engaging in what is commercial flight over the venue. This is the entity's tactic. And you're going to document that tactic because you're going to be prosecuted because you're establishing the pattern of conduct. Just like the same guy that's always stalking in your driveway every day, and then he engages in arriving in your driveway multiple times in the day as opposed to every night at 8:15 p.m. because he knows that you started documenting that. Well, then that provides you the evidence to present to the Superior Court and prove that guy, that weirdo, is in fact stalking you, and he engages in more stalking as that pattern of conduct shows an increase, which is aligned to what is knowledge about your documenting that weirdo that's stalking at your patio, at your driveway. This is what the government is doing while they're gang stalking in the ways in which they are openly doing so. And this is the United States government whose attitude toward American citizens and terrorizing American citizens when we are not in Baghdad, we're not in Afghanistan. This is what the United States government is doing, by the way, in California. But I don't care if we were in Nebraska or in Kansas. It's the United States of America, and it's showing the attitude of the demon-possessed who are mentally ill, okay? The Ontario International Airport is gang stalking and engaging in the demonic and psychopathic conduct. A demon that is under the Ontario Town Square Amphitheater. A bright light is shined on my face while I'm talking about establishing the pattern of conduct, while a demon stands at your patio and all you do is document that. In the same way that I'm documenting right now the pattern of conduct that you already know exists. So I want to be clear in real time. Remember, these are not just terrorists. Alan D. Wapner is not just a corrupt government actor. This is a psychopath who is filled with the spirit of Satan. He is demon possessed. And that is speaking to maniacal conduct that makes him a threat by factual information. It's not just my opinion. He is a threat to those whom he is related to, whomever he shares a home with, whoever is in contact with him, as are all of the people of the state. These are sex offenders and psychopaths who are engaging in targeting American citizens, as the population shows, while they're stalking at the Ontario Town Square under the guise of engaging in aerobics. While inexplicable light is shined on my face, while I'm seated at the where the large clock is under the amphitheater, while the demons of the Ontario International Airport with simultaneity to that light activity, these are the demons that are engaging in this very demented behavior, shining light, stalking with light all over the place, and stalking you all in the path. And the people of the state show their mental illness while they do it as a population, and not knowing your name, not addressing you. It's speaking to those that are engaging in and are poised to and in a position of bloodthirsty psychopaths who are stalking. They do things such as stalking you in small markets like 7-Eleven. They do things such as a whole population stalking you on the 210 freeway. Okay, and you don't know that your life is under attack, that your life is threatened like that. And this is the U.S. government that's engaging in real time, and this is what the rest of the world needs to know about the United States, those that frequently cross national lines into this country, those that cross state lines into California, the threat that is not any longer maintained as a secret, because mental illness is a very real issue in the state of California and in the United States, where mental illness is what is coloring the character of the system of gang stalking, which is a United States government program. Okay, and so the entities engaging in this while I'm publishing the podcast, and pursuant to the pattern of conduct, which is how you would document Jimmy, who was always at your driveway stalking you every night, and then increasingly doing so as you document and you support that documentation and submit it in the Superior Court, and Jimmy is subject to a prosecution. And Jimmy's mind state is also going to be at the forefront of that prosecution. Jimmy is operating under the name of the city of Ontario, the state of California, okay? And Jimmy's going to be thoroughly prosecuted. The entity is gang stalking. Remember, Securitas is engaging in the pattern of conduct. MULE is sharing in that psychopathic pattern of conduct. They serve dry ribs while they are monitoring with the city of Ontario that is providing evidence proving that MULE is nothing other than a gang stalker that sells dry ribs and unseasoned barbecue meat, okay? They're engaged in the pattern of conduct at Wells Fargo, gang stalking on the cameras at the ATM while they're stalking in the parking lot, pacing all around in the dark parking lot, driving up and down the street, waiting for me to arrive there so that sex offenders can molest my person because they want to touch all over my breasts and my thighs and my genitalia with engineered light. Okay, and those are the same sex offenders that want to be in the bathroom next to me while just having the knowledge that my vagina is exposed in that airspace. That's where the sex offenders are stalking in commercial planes. And this is the criminal conduct of Alan D. Wapner, who is severely mentally unstable, and he is also an exceedingly violent sex offender. Okay, the criminal conduct of the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Fire Department, American Medical Response, the mental illness exhibited by the government and the population is speaking to what is a threat that people need to be aware of, okay? Mental illness being thereby witnessed and capable for you to be aware of so that you're not ignorant to the fact of who is actually a dangerous person. And it's not the person that is engaging in aerobics at the Ontario Town Square and not speaking to you. That's somebody that's conspiring your murder and gang stalking you with the government with the intent to criminally defame you and kidnap you as well and steal from you as an entity. And they are fully invested in that. The entity is engaging in this while I am not only publishing the podcast at 7:19 p.m., as you can hear, which is again evidence prosecuting the state. The entity is engaged in ongoing surveillance since I arrived walking out of the library, the OVITT Family Community Library, where the fake sun set, the same address, by the way, where the fake sun was rising this morning. which is the same street, which is how you remember that Alex Escobar of the Ontario Police Department engaging in kidnapping, gang stalking me under the fake sun at 7:15 in the morning, and gang stalking me under the fake sun on the same street at 12:51 in the afternoon, where I'm on the same street and the fake sun is here after 6 p.m. He's going to federal prison. And the gang stalking of the very mentally unstable and lacking in legal strategy with regard to the prosecution of the City of Ontario, the corrupt entity, who is severely mentally ill as an entity, conspiring against the one American citizen, that is myself, who's going to prosecute them and use them as a template for diagnosing actual mental illness. This is the entity that is putting gang stalking police officers like Alex Escobar in federal prison, okay? The entity is engaging in that with impunity as well, and that's relevant too, including how long and how many years Alex Escobar, a national security threat, a threat to the public, an enemy to the United States, as a gang stalking police officer, how many years he belongs in federal prison based on the threat that he poses as a gang stalking police department that is incentivizing, facilitating, even targeting while the Ontario International Airport is stalking with light, stalking with corrupt restaurants that have poor food on the menu, stalking with corrupt banks like Wells Fargo, stalking with the corrupt population that's pacing on Euclid Avenue and on C Street and on Holt Boulevard and on what are all of the businesses as I walk up the street, and I'm documenting on a nightly basis, on a ceaseless basis, a whole series of a population stalking from venue to venue, place to place, demon to demon, stalking together, maintaining that specific environment. That's what's putting Alex Escobar in federal prison. It is a comprehensive prosecution. All of these demons are serving to prosecute each other while they are engaging in the pattern of conduct. And that is what is so woefully unfortunate about demons. It is providence, however, because the mentally ill, the demon-possessed, the domestic terrorists that are as threatening to the United States as a foreign terrorist from Baghdad who wants to come here and blow up unsuspecting American citizens. They are a threat, and they are going into the appropriate facilities. They are going to be labeled appropriately so that everyone is on notice about who they are. And it is also noted that in this country, the U.S. government and the population showed that they have no regard. You're not going to be on the news talking about, oh, I love this country and we respect the law, and we had no idea who Erica Spencer was, and we would never engage in no one, and I mean categorically. The entire city of Ontario, the entire state of California, the entire government body has clearly communicated to the world, and those who are paying very close attention, like the feds who are going to prosecute with that same measure of intensity, how you disregarded what are rules and laws as they were laid out, and you laughed at that, but you're not going to be laughing at federal prison. You're not going to be laughing at the exposure of your very specific name, okay? A syllabic breakdown of your identity when you are removed from office, the details as to why, everything that you've been engaging in, and everything that is occurring under your watch, which you are equally responsible and knowledgeable about. You're going to be exposed for it, and there will be an intensified prosecution. And that's what's relevant. The entity engaging in what is stalking with light, in the same way that I'm being psychologically tortured at the venue where the prosecution of the City of Ontario is also underway, in the same way that you're prosecuting Chevron, you're prosecuting the City of Ontario, where at this venue, the people of the state are engaging in open surveillance, conspiring in the murder of an American citizen. They're engaging in open surveillance at the Ontario Town Square. 224 North Euclid Avenue is where I'm being molested with impossible light, where the light that's reminiscent of the fire trucks that is appearing on this wall at the Ontario Town Square, where I've shown you many video and images, and you're looking at the big, large clock, reminiscent of like the Big Ben, if you're familiar in London. It's the tall clock at the Ontario Town Square, and this is where I'm seated, and there is no fire truck that at this distance is going to create that light activity. These are the sex offenders that are always touching me. This is what they're doing in 7-Eleven when they're not shopping, they're not warming up their car, they're not waiting for somebody behind the vehicle to get out the way. They're stalking, molesting me with impossible light. Sex offenders who are obsessed. They are also very mentally sick, very sick. And this is the problem of the demon-possessed in the United States. Okay, it is so pervasive, the lost become and create a national security threat. And they engage in a very specific criminal system, and it's federal group stalking monitoring, it's gang stalking, where the mentally sick, the demon-possessed, the lost are engaging in, and that's the government, are engaging in what is targeting American citizens in furtherance of murder and kidnapping, which the government commits with the people of the state. Okay, the entity engaging in criminal summoning again at 8:32 p.m. In Engineer Light, they're not doing anything other than stalking me. And that's speaking to the mental illness of Michael GERKEN,
of the mental illness of Mike Lorenz, where they are surrounded by the evidence and the feds are listening to them accumulate more and more federal charges, demonstrate more and more impunity, exhibit what is ongoing impunity, which is requiring the removal of such names and more. Okay, the entities engaged in this, it's 8:32 p.m. I've been subject to an ongoing means of harassment and sexual violence. The perpetual sex offense not only includes stalking in bathrooms, which the mentally ill practice in California, it also includes the ongoing molestation with impossible light, the ceaseless violation of the person and that person's privacy. What are you doing stalking in a bathroom? Because you're sick. And there are going to be laws that are ratified in order to prosecute that, because they don't want it to be on the books, because they don't want it to be known. They, the demon-possessed gang stalking sex offenders, are no longer engaging in that in secret. And they are going to be addressed with regard to laws that address the perpetual sex offense and all the ways in which the mentally ill are engaging in that, are executing sexual violence. It's currently 8:33 p.m. at 224 North Euclid Avenue. The entity is engaging in that sexual violence, going to the extent, that's speaking to obsession. When you are going to the extent to touch with light that's not even naturally occurring, when you're doing things such as keeping a fake son over one address, that's the extent to which you're stalking one person. That's how their obsession, the demon-possessed, are not only proven to be engaging in the P.O.C, but I'm giving you the evidence, showing you, and you're witnessing it yourself. That's how you're looking at the obsession that the demon-possessed think that they're hiding while they're stalking you as a stranger. And a stranger, again, that's an illusion. They're not strangers in that environment. They know exactly who you are. All right. In the same way that it is evidence of surveillance and stalking by a population and a public entity that's corrupt, it is evidence of obsession, stalking. You are only stalking one whom you are obsessed with. Okay. And the entity is sexually obsessed. These are sex offenders. And that's why you go to federal prison for gang stalking using children. It is currently 8:34 p.m. at the Ontario Town Square, where the entity is gang stalking the Herradura de Oro. All right. The T-Mobile at the intersection of Holt Boulevard and Euclid Avenue. The 280 North Limit Apartments, this is gang stalking by residents. The Ontario Fire Department at B Street, this is the same plaza. Paul Leon is an inevitable prosecution, like I stated. While the entities engaging in this, guess who's feet away? The crime scene where the Ontario City Hall is located, and it's not, as you know, the specific environment proves, and the gang stalking demons who go anywhere in vehicles, go anywhere with engineered light, go anywhere with engaging in aerial surveillance, go anywhere engaging in surveillance, stalking in the night, lurking in vehicles where you're being molested. The Ontario City Hall is engaged in ceaseless pattern of conduct. It's a venue where the entity is engaged in that P.O.C. Paul Leon is being removed from office, and it's not just based on the fact that he is aware of and is a part of the gang stalking community in Ontario. Literally, the crime scene where his office is located is a part of that pattern of conduct that I'm documenting right now. It's P.O.C. It's currently 8:35 p.m. and this is how the entity, the demon-possessed, the intellectually inept, are surrounding themselves with evidence which is going to embarrass them on the national scene. And that's relevant, that's important, and that's crucial. It is core when you are exposing Satan, when you're giving Satan a name by department, by government body, by community, by city, by state, because that's who Satan is acting through. And what Satan is doing. Gang stalking and all the ways in which the embarrassing criminal conduct that they don't want to be associated with, they want to do it, they just don't want to be known for it. They don't want to be associated with it. That's a psychopath. And their faces zoomed in so you could see even their pores. So you know exactly who are the sex offenders. And that's the purpose of prosecution and exposure. All right? It's currently 8:36 p.m. This is P.O.C.
All right, this is Ontario International Airport over Holt and Euclid Avenue, where the people of the state are stalking, as is evident by this impossible light activity on this wall. That's not from their headlights. This is what they're doing when they are molesting. That's my person right there. That's me, my shadow, multiple ones moving. These are all demons and they're stalking, and so is this. This is obsessive stalking everywhere, and it's also a threat to your life. And there's the fake moon. You see that? That's the fake moon. This is 150. Here's one shadow here. Here's one shadow here. And the Ontario Police Department, the Omnitrons is stalking in the path. That's peculiarized light in the engineered light. Engaging in surveillance with the Ontario International Airport, stalking me using commercial planes, while the fake moon moves in alignment with my person. The fake moon's going to travel south down Euclid Avenue.
And the population is stalking me as I walk south down Euclid Avenue and the Ontario International Airport that you know is gang stalking on Euclid Avenue with planes where there are no arrivals or departures. You didn't take off from here hovering over this intersection. They're stalking in the same way that the light activity proves, because this is not the product of these street lamps, and that's a stalker. This isn't traffic, this is surveillance, and that's also a demon. So I just want to be clear, the entity's engaging in that. These headlights don't light up that wall over there. And they also will not project my shadow, multiple, moving dynamic across the wall. These are demons. You're looking at demonic activity right in front of your face. And that's also letting you know you're witnessing mental illness, which is a public concern. It's a real issue. These are mentally ill, and this is the system of gang stalking. And the mentally ill are gang stalking. It is currently 8:52 p.m. That is Ontario Police. They start off this iteration. Those demons drive right here in the intersection. Ontario International Airport flying over, and the entity is targeting the environment, the fake moon, the engineer light, stalking together as an entity. That's the Ontario Police that are being disbanded. It's P.O.C. It's currently 8:52 p.m. License plate. ARCO is engaging in the pattern of conduct. Demons are pacing in and out of the ARCO while I'm walking by, which is they're crossing a path under the fake moon that's traveling south down the street. 6NFW126, 6WMZ222, 6UKJ605, 8WBN365, 7H55431. This is the federal RICO case. Every ARCO in the state of California is engaged in criminal surveillance. In the corrupt system of monitoring upon maintaining a business, 7WXX332. Every single last ARCO. And ARCO is monitoring with the City of Ontario, the police department. And this is corruption by that company. 7LRS756. P.O.C. It's currently 9:08 p.m. Excuse me. It's 9:03 p.m. All right, 7-Eleven, which is already documented, engaging in harassment. And they're engaging in harassment again while the Ontario Police are stalking as I arrive at this 7-Eleven at 731 Euclid Avenue. 9PYH590. That's the Ontario Police. That they have no problem you knowing that they're stalkers. They have no problem you knowing that they're sex offenders. They have no problem you knowing that they are enemies of the state, and they have disdain for the Constitution, okay? They treat it like fecal matter. And because of that, they are literally unfit, and they're also mentally unfit. And they're stalking while I'm walking south down the street under the fake moon, while I'm documenting their co-defendants, license 9PXJ271. And any of these co-defendants that are immigrants are being deported. 9AAK204, 7YYF605, 7UEW236. They engage in that same method of threatening while you're stalking. Gang stalking is not based on chronology. The gang stalkers are tracking your steps, getting in front of you like the Ontario Police Department do under the fake sun, license EF43N76 paper plate, and the 7-Eleven at 731 South Euclid Avenue is also gang stalking, and it's filled with gang stalking immigrants that are threatening me along with the Ontario Police Department. It's 9:05 p.m. Again, you need to understand that Alex Escobar merely represents the behavior of the criminal conduct of that entire department that's engaging in psychological torture, stalking as I arrive at this venue. And I'm going to continue documenting these domestic terrorists. It's P.O.C. Hello. Can I put my bag over here? Right here? Thank you. All right, they are in relevant position monitoring with Ontario Police. Excuse me. No, you're fine. License 7YYF605, stalking in the path. Just like I showed you, they're doing at 7-Eleven and where the Ontario Police are gang stalking by helicopter, like they did in the morning on... Today is August 9th. That was last night, August 8th, and like they did in the morning, I believe on August 7th, if not the same day. In other words, heavily documented gang stalkers using helicopters are also using police vehicles, which is also getting to that same conclusion regarding the removal of Paul Leon, who has a stalking police department, a mentally ill police department, a defective and ineffective and an infected and defective police department stalking me. They're going to be disbanded for it, engaging in kidnapping while they're stalking like this. This is the circumstances where they're engaging in kidnapping, not arriving because somebody at Starbucks called them and they weren't already engaging in surveillance.
Okay, they're going to be disbanded. And the entity is engaging in this, I want to be clear, while I'm documenting the people of the state. So while documenting the people of the state and the police engage in what is gang stalking, this is why you're going to prosecute the people in the way in which you are. That's exactly why. They are threatening together, and they engage in this foolish conduct while it is instantly put on the internet for all the world to witness the prosecution of a bunch of corrupt demons in California. This is P.O.C. It's 9:07 p.m. and this is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department that thought it was prudent, thought it was a good idea, thought that it would end well to engage in a satanic sacrifice of an American citizen while they practice witchcraft and exhibit to you their demon possession as a whole department. And that's not going well. And not only are they going to pay Satan, which because they're not able to hand over Erica Spencer is prosecuting them. And that's a part of the sacrifice of that department, okay? As I prosecute them in the physical and embarrass them. It's currently 9:08 p.m. and this is showing also how witchcraft has failed Mike Lorenz and every other incompetent demon working for that Ontario Police Department. This is P.O.C. All right, that's activity creation by a gang stalking immigrant inside of the 7-Eleven. All right, it's malice and it's mental illness. All right, I just want to be clear. I'm just going down and rattling out the ongoing analysis while psychopaths are stalking and they're surrounded with the evidence. And it's all to their own detriment, their own demise. And the Ontario police are the main reason why the Department of Homeland Security need to deport the immigrants in the state of California. This is exactly why. This is P.O.C. It's currently 9:08 p.m. All right, documentation of U.S. Customs Border Protection who are gang stalking inside of the 7-Eleven. He's also bearing weapons while doing so in operation of a communication device, which is Title 18, federal stalking, and gang stalking by crouching down in the refrigerated area inside of the venue, and engineer light under the fake moon. This is the P.O.C. and this is again the federal aspect of that same public entity, gang stalking with the people of the state. License 8NGS 967. It's P.O.C. The purchase from 7-Eleven is that federal RICO aspect of the prosecution of the state. This is P.O.C. It's currently 9:10 p.m.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Here you go. Actually, I'm sorry. You can go ahead. I'm going to get one more thing. Excuse me. Oh, he's driving in his own civilian record. There you go. Alrighty. The demon that's wearing the Department of, let me read that department again, while they're gang stalking inside of 7-Eleven with specific knowledge of everything that I'm stating when they engage in that pattern of conduct with the people of the state, with the Ontario Police Department. They're doing so while they're engaged in federal stalking. So this demon that wants to back out of the parking lot, let me go get his license plate. He's driving a black Tesla. Let me go ahead and get him because he's being that thirsty and documenting me. License plate, Juicena, Juicena. That's a demon that he backs out of the parking lot into the street because he doesn't want me to get his license plate. He's driving a black Tesla with that license plate, and it's 9:11 p.m. He's on surveillance cameras inside of the venue, and he's monitoring with the rest of these demons. And remember, I'm referring to things such as immigration, which is incendiary to gang stalking immigrants, but they are monitoring in this country, and you're not welcome. Okay, so it is as incendiary and bombastic to think that you have a right to be in this country while you're terrorizing American citizens. And if you want to get to a sense of belonging, you don't belong here when you're engaging in un-American conduct. And moreover, you're not even a natural-born citizen. So yes, bless Donald Trump and the Department of Homeland Security, gang stalking immigrants are going to be subject to deportation like they already are. And this is, again, blowing the whistle. They need to come do another sweep in Ontario. They're still engaged in the P.O.C. License 6JIZ633, 7UEW236, 9DDN173, 9ARK141, 9PXJ271. And I want to be clear, this demon, let me be clear, he's wearing a badge, driving a civilian vehicle with that license plate, JUICENA. Trying to avoid being documented, getting that license plate while he hops into that vehicle. Could have been anyone's car. The demons are engaging in what is monitoring me, gang stalking me, while they are also aware that I'm documenting them. 9PYH590 and 8NGS967. And they're doing so pursuant to real time. So let me show you. Again, he's also bearing a weapon. That's a threat to the ordinary target individual, to any American citizen. This is U.S. Customs and Border Protection, field operations including gang stalking.
I'm pretty sure, I'm absolutely positive actually, that criminal monitoring, gang stalking, demonic activity, domestic terrorism and psychological torture, federal stalking under Title 18 is not part of what are the field operations of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. This demon coming in and driving a black Tesla and trying to flee without the license plate being seen. He's bearing weapons, gang stalking with 7-Eleven. That's engaging in what is the unlawful act of monitoring through the business operations of this establishment. And 7-Eleven, like I stated, has a history, just like they are now, exhibiting a history of harassment while you are gang stalking me as a patron. All right, that's P.O.C. and they're doing so with the Ontario Police as well. It's currently 9:13 p.m. This is P.O.C. That's activity creation as I walk in. These are demons, and so is that demon wearing that uniform, referring to border operations. This is, and that's the federal government as well. As I've been documenting the entity gang stalking through the federal government for years, it's not new. Yeah, field operations of the border protection, U.S. Customs Border Protection. It is currently 9:14 p.m. This is stalking inside of a market. And this is what they're doing while I'm walking down the street and the fake moon is remaining over me. They're stalking as I'm going down the street. And they are very much mentally ill. And they include U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. They're gang stalking with the rest of the people of the state, where Satan has no distinction with regard to what that demon is wearing. Remember, you have a group of demons that are in the parking lot aiming light into the venue while the employees are maintaining ongoing noise. They're monitoring. And the fake moon's over the venue. At 731 South Euclid Avenue. The entity's keeping the fake moon over the venues as I'm showing you the fake sun over me during the day. This is indeed the P.O.C. And it's 9:15 p.m. It's actually pathetic. It's comical. I'm laughing. I'm getting the documentation, but it's absolutely pathetic that the federal government enters and engages in the pattern of conduct with these demons, and then is engaging in what is. Are you going to purchase? No, go ahead. And then it tries to reverse out of the parking lot. Yeah, that's it. Tries to reverse out of the. I'm going to use a card. Reverse out of the parking lot in order to avoid the license plate. I do need a bag, please. Yes. Yes. To avoid the license plate being captured. That's hilarious. I'm gonna put my phone number in.
Okay, cash or card, amigo? Card.
Oh, no. Was that not right? I'm sorry. Let me play it again.
Thank you, amigo. Have a good night.
Can I have that please back?
Oh yeah, there you go. Yay! I got over 3,000. Okay. Yes, card. Yes.
Insert.
Oh, I didn't see it. Hold on.
No swipe. Insert.
Oh, insert it? Okay. This side or this side?
Yeah, this way. Chip here. And now take out and swipe.
And swipe?
Yeah, now swipe.
Swipe it work? Okay.
Or at least of this week.
It worked. Okay.
$1. 2 roller grill items, $3. 5-piece boned wings, $5. This appreciable value menu earned its name.
How much?
Okay.
Thank you. Can I? I'm sorry. What did you say?
The new card is
Oh,
working like this.
oh, okay. How much for a cup of ice? Just ice.
You buy new one?
Yeah.
Okay. कौन सी है? नहीं simple
Yeah, I'll buy it. Just a small one.
It's the same price. You put a drink or ice.
Oh, same price as the regular drink?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Then you have one.
You too.
Like you bring your cup, we charge you
Yeah, I have a cup. $1?
$1?
Yeah, I have my cup too. So charge me $1? Thank you. Where's my cup at? Oh, I'll put my other cup. Do I want to do that? Excuse me? P.O.C. Sorry. And by the way, it's 9:18 p.m. The entity's maintaining activity, the door chime, audible activity, pacing in and out as well, while they are stalking in the parking lot, aiming light, which is conveniently underway while you park in the spots, and you are keeping the headlights on. And they're all in engineered light. Remember, multiple shadows, that's the significance of having headlights on, and it's not even headlights that creates engineered light. They're monitoring their gang stalking. And so is 7-Eleven, the establishment, and 7-Eleven is doing so with the Ontario Police Department, which is an intentional and unlawful threat by the entity that is monitoring evidence. That is Title 18 federal stalking committed with the intent to obstruct justice, which is the pattern of conduct of the entity that's gang stalking. Looks like 94542R1. And here you go, just ice right here. Oh, somebody smells good.
Insert and swipe.
Okay. Insert.
Swipe again.
It worked. Okay. Boy, that's tricky.
Thank you. Have a good night.
No problem. Can I get a receipt, please? Did you give me a receipt last time? Yeah, I need a receipt. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Or good night.
How much?
Ontario Police Vehicle 1128, license 1706922. Stalking in the parking lot. It's currently 9:21 p.m. These are the mentally ill. They cannot help themselves. This is why the Ontario Police is going to be relieved of their duties. Okay, they cannot handle the pressure of staying away from where my vagina is located, where I am documenting criminal conduct that Satan is exceedingly hostile to being exposed because these demons think that they are capable and nobody sees them, and the whole world sees them actually now. So Satan, that is the demon possessed, that is the Ontario Police Department, criminals that are gang stalking, they are, through their conduct of gang stalking in the specific environment, engaging in what is exhibiting that obsession with me while I document them. They're also obsessed with my vagina when I'm in the private space. So I'm going to show you my shadow on both sides of me. This is the venue where the Ontario Police under the fake moon, which I'm also capturing, demon stalking at what is the adjacent venue in the dark, aiming light at the parking lot, stalking in the path, just like I captured the Ontario Police at Starbucks at 11 p.m. in the middle of the night while I'm publishing evidence on the venue of the internet. And remember, the entity is stating my name, saying Erica, when there's no previous encounter. Contrary to what the demons are doing, gang stalking me, they are in the middle of the night arriving out of nowhere. And by out of nowhere, I put that in air quotes because they are monitoring evidence and they exhibit what is hostility as demons stalking in the middle of the night and engaging in what is the ominous stalking with light activity and even announcing my name. Erica, what are you doing? While they're stalking. That was documentation that I captured the same Ontario Police stalking with these license plates again. 7UEW236, 6DZR037. license 5XLP906, 7LCN920, 9PXJ271, 9PYH590, and pacing in the parking lot. And I want to be clear, more gang stalking immigrants arrive as I refer to that policy. These are the demons that are monitoring evidence, and you are not welcome in this country. You're getting out of this country as surely as they're gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department. You're definitely getting out of this country, gang stalking immigrants. License DE50LO7, I believe. That's a paper plate. All right, this is P.O.C. And I'm going to show you what is, again, stalking in the middle of the night. These are demons that are gang stalking with the intent to commit murder. And this crime scene is where you're looking at. That's exactly what you're doing, stalking in the middle of the night, as a demon stalking with impossible light activity, and doing so as a pattern of conduct, bearing weapons, engaging kidnappings while they are engaging authority that they don't have under the law, doing so in furtherance of committing murder. And they're doing so in concert with gang stalking immigrants in this country. The Ontario Police Department could not be any more of a domestic enemy and establish one by evidence, tangible evidence. It is currently, again, 9:24 p.m. This is 731 South Euclid Avenue. 7-Eleven is engaged in terrorism in the United States. That's what you need to know about this business, acting in conformity to a statewide pattern of conduct. It is, by the way, again, hold on. The entity is stalking by helicopter as well. I documented this 7-Eleven, I documented the P.O.C. in 2020, 2021. This is not new, and this is, again, the entity that's going to be disbanded. The Ontario Police Department are obviously stalking when I'm at 731 South Euclid Avenue, and the entity is stalking in the parking lot, stalking by helicopter, stalking by aircrafts. Sorry? Nobody's talking to you. Let me get my camera though. There we go. All right, the entity is stalking, flying right over my head by aircraft. You'll see the images of that right now. This is 9:25 p.m. And the entity is stalking in the path at the adjacent venue, aiming their headlights, okay? Excuse me. Thank you. Aiming their headlights in the directions. That's called stalking with light. All right, the entity is engaging in that. That's the pattern. That's the objective of keeping the fake sun all day long. None of that is sunlight that the demons are surrounding that covers all of the land. That's the unpersuasive and unintelligent illusion where the demon possessed are monitoring 63493N3. That's 7-Eleven engaging in the pattern of conduct, including the business of that venue while criminal monitoring is underway. You're not engaged. You're not engaged in anything other than unlawful conduct that is maliciously executed when you're smuggling drugs through your laundromat. And it's the same thing with engaging in federal stalking through the maintenance of a quick market. That's what 7-Eleven is doing, and every 7-Eleven in the state of California is engaged in criminal monitoring. All right, it's built into the pattern of conduct. Everything they're saying and doing, their presence is accomplishing criminal monitoring in concert with the government that engages in what is threatening American citizens whom they know are in any way enforcing their rights, like the psychopath sex offenders, the Ontario Police. Okay, and the demon that is coming into the venue bearing weapons, gang stalking by going into the refrigerator section in order to be in the path and come into the venue gang stalking. License 8CLF411. This is the gang stalker in the venue, which I'm going to document. Jim's Titan Burgers. I've documented this venue already. The entity keeping the fake sun over me at Mission and Euclid. The Ontario Police Department gang stalking by helicopter, flying in circles over me at the center of this intersection. This is spectacular evidence that's already published on the video of the internet. And this is a sex offender that's monitoring at Jim's Burgers. This is P.O.C. And they're monitoring with the Ontario Police. They're monitoring with the demon that enters in, gang stalking me, bearing weapons. Okay? This is the entity is engaging in specific conduct that is a direct threat. You are, first of all, engaging in the pattern of conduct in the specific environment. You don't have any constitutional right to do so. This is massive surveillance that the government is no longer secretly executing, engaging in. And I've not consented to it. And the entity seeks to kidnap and murder while you are aware of it and document it. Moreover, when you are gang stalking, you are not innocently nor maintaining any right to engage in what is exacerbating that threat by carrying weapons on your person while you are gang stalking, monitoring. Stalking with the government as demons who are focused on every word that I state, everything that I say. In addition to what it is and the ways in which you're monitoring. You're bearing weapons. I just want to be clear. I don't care if it's bringing security. And when it is also the Ontario police, that's an unlawful threat. You're going to federal prison. This is how the entity commits murder and threatens American citizens without stating a word. They don't say a word. This is how they're threatening them. This is how they engage in psychological torture. And there's psychopaths that keep their back to you, don't say a word. And the target individual that's being, that remains subject to the system is subject to those threats. And I'm giving voice to it so you understand these demons who are highly unintelligent, all of their strategies. Their strategies are getting them time in prison. That's what their strategies are getting them locked up. It's currently 9:23 p.m. and that is a hard and fast rule. Gang stalking bearing weapons, federal prison. Federal prison. All right, that's an unlawful threat to your life. In the same way, any stalker that is exacerbating a threat, you're already a stalker. Okay, Jimmy's stalking every night outside of your home, and then Jimmy arrives and he's wearing a gun on his waist while he's stalking. Okay, that's an unlawful threat as well. Understand and appreciate the threat that the entity is posing while gang stalking as a population in that specific environment. And it is as direct and clearly communicated and reasonably so as well. You're going to federal prison for threatening the life of an American citizen whom you're keeping under surveillance while you're bearing weapons. And that's what this demon is doing by going into the 7-Eleven, by the way, representing another corrupt agency. Gang stalking by digging into the refrigerated area in 7-Eleven in the engineer light under the fake moon with a bunch of psychopaths, which he is as well. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection gang stalking at 731 South Euclid Avenue, where I have a history of evidence of the entity gang stalking, fake sun and everything. Stalking by helicopter by the Ontario police and everything. That was P.O.C. All right, and the gang stalking immigrant population are hostile to the actual law and order. And that is, again, why you disband corrupt police departments like the Ontario Police, because they are clearly accustomed to engaging in this lawlessness and not being held accountable for it, not being called out for it, and have the audacity to be hostile. Engage in more of it. More and more immigrants arrive based on whatever it is that I'm documenting. I documented this in more than one location, and it is evidence of surveillance. There's no coincidence in engineer light and under the fake sun while the demons are stalking you in helicopters from city to city in that specific environment. As I document the Asian community in Walnut, California, the entity responds with what was a clear underscore of what is hostility to my documentation. So then the Starbucks is filled with nothing other than Asian people. And now this is speaking to what is speaking to the pattern of conduct, the ways in which the entity is targeting you based on what they're all obsessively consumed with, what I say as I say it. You come and engage in gang stalking me by having a picnic, as I refer to what is a picnic as a means of presence in the path. They're sitting up listening. And so you engage in that. It's the same thing with regard to the entity that acts through specific actors. So it's not about me having an issue with any person. Black people I'm speaking to, all colors of the rainbow, are engaging in the P.O.C. And immigrants engage in more of that threat and more of that criminal conduct the more you document, and they know it. And they also engage in, they don't speak any English, but they know what I'm talking about when I'm documenting, though. They know what I'm doing with regard to stalking with light and audible activity with the government that's acting in sync pursuant to that same demonic pattern of conduct. The linguistics is nothing other than an illusion with regard to the demonic P.O.C. And you're not going to be confused or distracted by that. Moreover, the entity is engaging in a pattern of conduct with that specific population, and it's speaking to a threat that they pose. And the reason why they're hostile is because they have been accustomed clearly to this corrupt government acting with them and through them and not having any consequences for it because it serves the corrupt purposes. And that whole system, that whole corrupt partnership is being broken down. All right, it's currently 9:31 p.m. This is P.O.C. That was 731 South Euclid Avenue and Jim's Burgers, where the entity is maintaining ongoing light activity. Where they're parked in the parking lot is in alignment with where I'm at the entrance doors of the 7-Eleven, stalking with light, maintaining light in that path. All right, this is P.O.C. Euclid Avenue and Francis. The Ontario Police sounding helicopter activity after using what is ongoing, the use of fireworks, which is audible noise. The demons that are engaging in what are looking for a response, and again, these are the mentally ill. The response is a federal prosecution and disbanding. But nonetheless, sex offenders that are obsessively consumed with you and obsessed with you want attention from you, and it is in the form of documentation at Francis Street and Euclid. It's 9:55 p.m. The entity sounding helicopter activity, and you will see what is crossing path by the Ontario International Airport at Francis and Euclid. This is stalking with commercial planes, perpetually hovering throughout the city of Ontario, never engaging in what is the traditional flight, sharp incline takeoff from an airport where you're not hovering throughout the city. The entity is engaged in that while the Ontario police are stalking in helicopter, just like they're stalking in that parking lot at 7-Eleven, using their Ontario Police Department vehicles. That's literally using the instrumentalities of a police department to engage in criminal conduct. They're stalking in police vehicles. It doesn't get any more clear with regard to demonstrating that a disbanding is necessary, absolutely necessary. It's currently 9:56 p.m. at Francis Street and Euclid Avenue, and the P.O.C. There's the AutoZone, the Wiener Schnitzel, the Dr. Lely and Associates Dentist Office, and I'm capturing images of the plaza, the Euclid Plaza. Looks like 1805 North Euclid Avenue. That's what I want to get with regard to an address where the entity is stalking. The people of the state are gang stalking as well. This is a facilitating venue, and the fake moon you'll see in the images are right over the facilitating venue where the entity is stalking with helicopter activity. Okay, this is P.O.C., and this is how the people of the state are exposing that the population is indeed engaged in gang stalking. All right, it is currently, this is the Ontario Police gang stalking. 9:57 p.m. following from what is the venue at Euclid and, the Ontario Town Square. Yeah, the Ontario Police is behind this tree right here, stalking with helicopter as I document the address of the people of the state, just like they do as I document the people of the state, and the entity engages in what is crossing path in Ontario Police Department vehicles. They're stalking as well. 9PLR447, this is federal stalking. These are demons that are stalking in engineered light. And that's the demons. Again, Mike LORENZ, again, proven to be stalking at the OVITT Family Community Library, obsession with my vagina, disbanding of sex offenders that are not engaged in law enforcement. This is, again, underscoring not just Alex Escobar. Every gang stalking police officer is going to federal prison. That's why they're at this intersection, Francis Street and Euclid Avenue, stalking in the specific environment with the people of the state. Here's my shadow, more than one. Here's one. And there is another one right here, and here is another one right here. That's a specific environment. That has nothing to do with standing under a light source. And the pattern of what are demons stalking as a police department, putting all the documented terrorists that are on video under the fake sun and in engineered light that are working for the Ontario Police in prison. Remember, at 415 North Euclid Avenue at 2 in the morning, they're stalking in the vehicles, stalking by helicopter, and this is at 1805. This is the people of the state that are gang stalking. They're gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, and so is every other citizen in the city, engaging the P.O.C., stalking as I'm walking up the street. This is domestic terrorism and psychological torture, and that is the entity that is gang stalking me, threatening me while I document you. That's the entity that engages in criminal summoning together. This is the entity that engages in exhibiting mental illness. This is pacing. This is going on the playlist where you're witnessing mental illness by demons that engage in stalking me throughout the city, using helicopters, spending a lot of money, doing so 24 hours, like at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's currently 10 o'clock right now, and the entity is doing so while they know that their stalking conduct is being documented. These are psychopaths. This is P.O.C. It's currently 9:59 p.m. All right, capturing video. I'm going to upload that to the Google Drive. It is evidence, as you hear me narrating, of exactly what the entity was engaging in, using fireworks as a means of ongoing monitoring while I am surrounded by the entity, and doing so in that specific environment, the ongoing pattern, which you cannot make up. The entity is under the fake moon that's remaining traveling south. This is what's going on at the 150 East Hope Boulevard, the fake sun at that Holt and Euclid Avenue intersection, and the fake moon is right here over me at the people of the state's venue while I'm standing there, and the entity is being openly engaged, in other words, mentally depraved conduct, demented conduct, pacing in a helicopter, stalking as a police department. And by the way, that's going back to, again, Alex Escobar's mental illness, while that entire department practices that pattern of conduct, wearing uniforms while they're stalking, engaging in criminal surveillance, which is not law enforcement. And Alex Escobar, that is, again, an ongoing example. Look at his mental illness. It's exhibited while he is stalking as a corrupt police officer in a manner that you're not supposed to be able to see, but everybody sees it. And the ongoing stalking by the department that uses helicopters, as I'm capturing on a ceaseless basis, is the same department acting via demons like Alex Escobar, who commit kidnapping as a gang stalking officer with a gang stalking department, who is engaging in criminal surveillance with the people of the state, where the fake sun and the engineered light and the fake moon is over me, while they are crossing path gang stalking by residents. All right, this is P.O.C. It's currently 10 p.m. And like I said, this is the entity that's putting Alex Escobar. The Ontario Police Department put Alex Escobar in federal prison. The Ontario Police Department removed Alex Escobar from law enforcement, and everybody else with that department, they're done with law enforcement. And they are also engaging in what is the evidence speaking to the necessity of mental examinations upon what is disbanding and prosecution. And federal prison for those that are stalking me in furtherance of the conspiracy to commit murder, because that's why they're stalking in helicopters. Gang stalking is that which is executed in furtherance of the conspiracy to commit murder in a malicious manner. But for documentation proving that they are engaged in targeting, indeed, and they're also doing it with the unlawful objective to commit murder, trying to sacrifice. And those are demons, and they're exhibiting their demon possession to you while they're flying in circles at an intersection, Francis Street and Euclid. What are they doing down here? They're stalking me. That's why. It's P.O.C. It's not coincidental when I'm at an Economy Inn. What are they doing? Stalking in helicopters, flying over that hotel, stalking day and night, flying in circles when at 12 o'clock in the morning. That's the pattern of conduct. And it is putting Alex Escobar in federal prison and every other gang stalking police officer, while the mentally ill are engaging in stalking conduct, like the Ontario Police is now. Hostile because they're gang stalking, and then because I'm proving it. Well, excuse me, I've already proven it. And then their mental illness is something that you can obviously witness. The hostility, the obsession, the mania, all right? The ongoing obsession with some delusion. You're not stalking anybody secretly anymore, and everybody's looking at your mental illness as clearly as they see that badge that I'm going to take. They see that mental illness written all over you, and you're going to be prosecuted for it. And the demons exhibit more and more obvious behavioral issues, mental illness, the more and more that I document them. And again, that's speaking to the psychopathic threat that are the gang stalkers who are part of a corrupt police department. All right, Mike Lorenz's ineptitude with regard to criminal conduct by a whole police department is necessitating his removal, and that's already going to happen. And you're talking about what is disbanding because of the multitude of egregious acts of kidnapping while this police department's been stalking the entire time. It's currently 10:08 p.m. This is P.O.C. The Ontario Police are driving on Euclid Avenue and using the spotlights on the vehicle while demons exhibit hostility while they're stalking with light. So just like I documented on video, this is what they were doing on Euclid Avenue in the middle of the night. And it was mainly after I documented very damning video and the demons that are hostile, they start using all manner of light activity, stalking. Demons who are mad. License 1644200, I believe. That looks like the same license plate as the demon gang stalking at Economy Inn, but that's Ontario Police gang stalking again, pacing in vehicles. And doing so while I am at the Ontario Christian School on Euclid Avenue, where I've already documented the pattern of conduct. I documented, for example, Economy Inn in 2021 and 2020, where the pattern of conduct is underway, as you are witnessing in 2025, where the Ontario Police Department has more than demonstrated the fact that they need to be relieved of the duties which they are not capable of satisfying and fulfilling by, as based on the facts that show that they are mentally ill upon corrupt and engaging in criminal activity, which is exposing the criminal conduct that they are engaging in and facilitating with a population of people. They are aiding in what is public corruption. And that's also why they're going to, and the importance behind disbanding them. All right, their mental illness as demons that engage in more and more light activity while they're pacing on Euclid Avenue. Those are demons that are letting you know that they're mentally ill. They're letting you know that they're demons as well. That's what the Ontario Police is doing while they're listening, and they are infuriated while they listen to me document them. Stalking with a third party. This water feels good. The sprinklers is a means of audible activity. License plate 7NTS755. Stalking with the Ontario Police Department at the Ontario Christian School. And I've captured video already of the Ontario International Airport stalking me. And by stalking me, I mean hovering down at low elevation. It is no takeoff at all. They are clearly stalking, hovering down to fly low across the sidewalk and flying over my head right here where I'm located, where the Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Police Department are gang stalking now. This is already evidence that's on the video of the internet. Alan D. WAPNER is being removed from office. The Ontario International Airport remains a threat to national security, where they're engaged in and consumed with stalking me and monitoring my vagina. Because that's the fact, the entity is engaging in what is threatening the lives of American citizens, where unstable psychopaths who are stalking in a malicious manner and also seeking to derive benefits, monetary benefits, that is profit, while you're gang stalking, engage in domestic terrorism in the United States. This is speaking to what is removing that airport that's not even legitimate in the first place, as I've captured egregious acts of criminal monitoring, targeting me using commercial planes. It's sitting on the record. It's video evidence while you're looking at them stalking me all day long at the Ontario Town Square. That is evidence of them targeting, which is already sitting there. Like I said, there's no question about what they're doing and what the Ontario Police Department is doing. And the entity is doing that while you are witnessing the evidence of mental illness. And mental illness is not accepted because it's wearing a police uniform. In fact, it's even more crucial to make sure that you are removing that threat because that mental illness is hiding behind that police uniform. All right, it's currently 10:06 p.m. This is P.O.C. The entity is stalking on Euclid Avenue with, again, another demon representing the Ontario Police. And they're doing so while the fake moon is moving in real time. That's the entire department that's gang stalking. The Ontario Police Department's engaged in stalking, which is not law enforcement. And they are engaged in more and more stalking. That means more and more demons in vehicles that represent that logo. This is the same P.O.C. because they're all cockroaches sitting around listening to me. And because they're so obsessed with me, they're being disbanded. It's currently 10:07 p.m. This is P.O.C. Currently, this is the Ontario Police gang stalking, 9:57 p.m. following from what is the venue at Euclid and, the Ontario Town Square. Yeah, the Ontario Police is behind this tree right here, stalking with helicopter as I document the address of the people of the state, just like they do as I document the people of the state and the entity that is crossing path in Ontario Police Department vehicles. They're stalking as well. 9PLR447. This is federal demons that are stalking an engineered light. And that's the demons. Again, Mike LORENZ, again, proven to be stalking at the OVITT Family Community Library, obsession with my vagina, disbanding of sex offenders that are not engaged in law enforcement. This is, again, underscoring not just Alex Escobar. Every gang stalking police officer is going to federal prison. That's why they're at this intersection, Francis Street and Euclid Avenue, in the specific environment with the people of the state. Here's my shadow, more than one. Here's one, and there is another one right here, and here is another one right here. That's a specific environment. That has nothing to do with standing under a light source. And the pattern of what are demons stalking as a putting all the documented terrorists that are on video under the fake sun and an engineered light that are working for the Ontario Police in prison. We're at 415 North Euclid Avenue at 2 in the morning. They're stalking in the vehicle, stalking by helicopter, and this is at 1805. People of the state that are gang stalking. They're gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, and so is every other citizen in the city. Engaging the P.O.C. stalking as I'm walking. This is domestic terrorism and psychological torture, and that is the entity that is gang stalking me, threatening me while I document you. That's the entity that engages in criminal summoning together. This is the entity that engages in illness. This is pacing. This is going on the playlist where you're witnessing mental illness by demons that engage in stalking me throughout the city, using helicopters, spending a lot of money, doing so 24 hours, like at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's currently 10 o'clock right now, and the entity is, while they know that their stalking conduct is being documented, these are psychopaths. This is P.O.C. It's currently 9:59 p.m. All right, it's currently 10:20 p.m. Driftwood Village, that is anchored by Food for Less on Euclid Avenue. It is where the Chevron gas is located as well. The entire shopping plaza. This is the people of the state engaging in criminal monitoring, and it is, again, punctuated with the stalking with impossible light conduct. The demons at Driftwood Village, who are gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, who was following me in a helicopter as I documented at Francis and Euclid, replete with what is stalking in helicopter by flying in circles at that intersection, targeting, also mentally demented behavior, pacing, and what is the engineer light, also indicative of mental illness of that targeting entity. Doing so while the entity is crossing path to get at vehicle 1047. It's so sad. This is the Ontario Police are going to get the attention that they need. Okay, the entity is engaging in this P.O.C. with the Driftwood Village shopping plaza. The Ontario Police crossing path as I'm documenting what is the supernatural conduct of stalking with light. No vehicle that's driving out of the driveway across the street is going to create any sort of light on the wall of the economy and the south wall, the backside of that hotel, where the Ontario International Airport stalks by flying south over that venue, where the Ontario Police is stalking under the fake sun at 6:03 p.m. by flying in circles. That's the Ontario Police that's driving by right now as I'm documenting, keeping my evidence. That's the unlawful criminal conduct of the government. It's all relevant to prosecuting these very highly unstable terrorists who are, again, begging for help, and they're going to get the medical attention that they need. The entity is, again, coming apart at the seams the more and more that they are cornered and surrounded and proven to be terrorists, proven to be maniacs, proven to be stalkers, which is, again, antithetical to what law enforcement is supposed to be depicted by. I mean, nothing remotely close to a stalker. And that's exactly what the Ontario Police Department, they're nothing but stalkers, and they are very much in serious need of medical attention, paying close attention to the mental illness that they suffer from, and it needs to be something that is diagnosed in a matter of record. The entity is engaging in stalking with light, and Driftwood Village Shopping Center is engaging in that sex offense. It's an act of terrorism. Center House, this is the shopping plaza is adjacent to the gang stalkers living in relevant position. This is criminal surveillance by residents that's relevant to the public corruption as well. They are monitoring. You're not next door to the venue where that conduct is happening, and you're just innocently there, ignorantly there, coincidentally there, and it is happening in a vacuum outside of your presence. This is the entity, and I'm documenting who is around engaging in that with ongoing impunity. Another demon crossing path at the very heavily documented Driftwood Village. Another venue where the Ontario Police is stalking in helicopter, flying in circles while I'm going to the grocery store. Okay? They cannot engage in what is giving me privacy while my vagina is exposed in the bathroom. They cannot give me any privacy while I go to the grocery store and the demons are stalking me in that grocery store. The entity is gang stalking at Driftwood Village, which is already on the record, gang stalking under the fake sun as well, while they are engaging the P.O.C. now, and demons are driving onto Euclid Avenue, coexisting with impossible light. This is public corruption while the demon-possessed, the mentally ill, in other words, are engaging in what is stalking on the roads and the highways as an entity conspiring the murder of the target individual who is not a stranger to them. They know exactly who you are while they're stalking you under the fake sun, while they are stalking amongst impossible light activity, and while they engage in more of that supernatural conduct that would never happen naturally once, the demons engage in it over and over and over and over and over again as you document. And that, by the way, is shared by the Ontario Police Department, who are exhibiting what is very much a national security concern, that mental illness is borne by those that are in law enforcement, and it is necessary that they be immediately removed from that position. They are engaging in what is murders, they're engaging in kidnappings, they're engaging in what is setting American citizens up for criminal conduct that they did not commit, while the police are, again, ironically, engaging in actual criminal conduct where they don't have any authority under the law either. Okay, 10:23 p.m., 10:24 p.m., ongoing violence by Driftwood Shopping Village. That is an entire facilitating venue, and so is Food for Less, so is Golden Spoon, so is Jack in a Box, so is Chevron, all of those companies that you know by name. Driftwood Shopping Village, the entire shopping plaza, incorporating all of those venues together, is the entire facilitating venue that you're going to prosecute. There is a commercial property management company engaging in what is gang stalking, just like speaker companies, Todd Speaker, with regard to the pattern of conduct that I'm subject to at the apartment complex where there is a property management company, just like at Woodside Senior Apartments where Daryl Cooper, the CEO of the gang stalking property management company, Avanath Capital Management, okay? Driftwood Shopping Center is an entire venue and anchored by Food for Less, and that entire venue is sharing in that ongoing gang stalking and targeting. And I also have a body of evidence about what Driftwood is engaging in, and it is terrorism, while the mentally ill are only the ones that could even conjure up the notion of what is stalking in grocery stores, which is what California is doing. Okay, again, if you have not already picked up the hint, this is an encouragement. If you don't live in California, don't come here, okay? It's full of mentally sick people who are dying on a day-to-day basis. They are psychologically dead. They are emotionally dead. They are mentally dead. And they are actually hollowed out, demon-possessed people who are engaging in dead deeds, such as stalking as a population, and not actually living any true life. They are miserable beings, and I do not, under any circumstances, encourage anybody to move to California if you're not already here. California is not the only state full of demon-possessed people who are engaging in this corrupt system, but California is one of the worst. And I know that because I'm here, and that's just because of the reputation that California would like to maintain, and that I'm here in the field, and I'm letting you know about how the sickness that surrounds by every household in the state, okay, that are engaging in this criminal conduct, including the homeless population, including the immigrant population, including the entity as you're looking at the government body. That's what is so alarming. And this is the entity that's providing, again, a horrible commercial for the gang stalkers that are the state of California. You will see in images what is targeting with impossible light at 10:26 p.m. driving onto Euclid Avenue. That is not going to create any impossible light activity caused by headlights, okay? It's engineered light, while stalking is coexisting with pacing from Driftwood Village Shopping Center, where surveillance is underway, onto Euclid Avenue in the direction north, where no headlights are reaching across the street, causing any light activity. But you saw that same pattern of conduct on video at 150 East Hope Boulevard tonight, where the demons at the stoplight, their headlights individually nor collectively, which would be blinding to drivers. If your headlights were that powerful, you can't drive behind each other on the road. That will be blinding. These demons engage in very illogical and absurdly asinine conduct while they're stalking with light. It's as absurd of keeping the sun over the Starbucks. There's no mystery about what Starbucks is, what Starbucks is doing, and who Starbucks is doing it with. Nonetheless, it is providence for you who are witnessing it, as I am opening your eyes to what you were always looking at it. You were always around it. You just didn't realize, and you were not consciously observing what you are surrounded by, okay? And it's the demon possessed who are engaging in a demonic means of targeting, and they are, again, as loony as that environment is, it's speaking to what is a very much loony mindset, and mental illness is prevalent, okay, contrary to what we are conditioned to think of regarding mental illness, which is propaganda in this country. All right, the demon-possessed are hollowed out zombies, and they don't want you to know about them. They don't want you to know what they're doing either, and that is inevitable, okay? It is currently 10:28 p.m. Driftwood Village is not gang stalking by themselves. So is the U.S. Fuels, the gas station, so is Chevron gas, so is ARCO on the opposite side of the 60 freeway. The people that stayed on the roads and the highways, the 60 freeway, they're engaging in surveillance, and they are all, this is speaking to what is surveillance in the States, because these demons know who I am, and this is speaking to their condition. The demons that possess their bodies, these are spirits. And those demonic spirits in them, where they are driving on Euclid and engineered light is targeting me, the spirits that are operating dangerous machines are targeting, and they know exactly who you are. That doesn't mean that they know my social security number. But this is an entity that's engaging in surveillance, and it's satanic. This is demonic activity. I am prosecuting in the physical with tangible evidence in a tribunal regarding evidence of targeting. No matter that evidence is also demonic, which lets you know about what's wrong with them. They're demons. And they are very much engaging in what is knowledge, exhibiting knowledge, proving knowledge, while they are stalking, not as strangers. Okay, it's currently 10:29 p.m. at Driftwood Shopping Village Shopping Center. That's what it's called, Driftwood Village Shopping Center, where the entity is also clearly targeting. I have evidence of the entity stalking me by helicopter. Doing so, I can't go to the grocery store. I cannot go to the bathroom. I cannot go to a drive-through. I can't go to the gas station. I can't be at home, and I cannot be at work. I can't be at Starbucks without the gang stalking entity following me there. And this is speaking to that population that is dead, that is miserable. This is why they are stalking one person as a population. And that's just the hard that's just the hard facts. Impossible light is moving across the wall of Economy Inn, and that's what you saw on video at 150 East Hope Boulevard on video tonight at where the fake moon is present. And this is where the fake moon is over me at the Economy Inn as well. And engineer light is moving. It's the pattern of conduct. And the pattern of conduct is speaking to exactly what that phrase is defined as. They engage in identical conduct over and over and over again. They do the same thing over and over and over again. I show you the iterations of the same pattern, doing it the same thing in a different manner. It is the same pattern of conduct. And that pattern of conduct is demonic. And it's letting you know what is no longer a secret population. and nor a secret condition. And it is something that you need to be alerted about and informed of. That demon-possessed people are engaging in what is criminal activity, it's monitoring, and it's also that which is inhumane and absolutely psychopathic. And people that are making up a population in positions where they pose a threat to the public, such as police departments, they're engaging in what is violence against American citizens. And it is not just mysterious and unknown criminal conduct that's reported on the news. Not at all. These are predators, these are criminals, and these are ticking time bombs. And they're engaging in that P.O.C. together. All right, it is currently, by the way, 9UAU 296. Just want to document some of the people of the state that are gang stalking while the entity is stalking with impossible light, and more so as I document them. That's mental illness. 7NZD 349, 6EWD 827. The entity is doing so again. The light activity becomes more radical as you document, and they're monitoring that documentation. That's the mental illness that is demonstrated by the Ontario Police. That sort of psychopathic behavior, which is criminal, that sort of impunity, which is improper for the government to engage in stalking you and surveilling you, and then you engage in more of that, and what you're doing is showing that you're mentally sick. You're going to be removed from the position where you are definitely serving and creating and representing a threat to the public, including these gang stalking demons who are the people of the state. Okay, that's what the people of the state are doing. Impossible light activity while a demon is behind me pacing. And this is, again, the population that is also exhibiting knowledge about the status of my vagina, which is letting you know that the entity that is gang stalking is very much full of predators. All right, predators hide behind having babies. Predators hide behind the jobs that they maintain. Predators hide behind the fact of whatever activity that you're supposed to be distracted by, looking at them. Oh no, they're not gang stalking because they're putting air in their tire. Oh no, they're not gang stalking because they're pushing a stroller. Oh no, they're not gang stalking because they're wearing a badge. All of that is nothing other than literally how a demon is present around you, stalking, monitoring in the specific environment. So it's a population, it's an entity. It is currently 10:38 p.m. This is P.O.C. Driftwood Village Shopping Center. Okay, and it's also the Chevron on the opposite side of the same 60 freeway. I have uploaded a map, and I'll go ahead and remind you again about the area where I'm at. This is speaking to what the entire state of California is doing. While I'm going to any location in that same supernatural environment, which is relevant to psychological torture and domestic terrorism, follows as I go. In the same way that you witness it with the evidence of the fake sun documentation, it follows where I go. Okay, that's P.O.C. That's a population that's following. The synonym for following is stalking. This is P.O.C. All right, sex offender 9ETY968 cannot help himself, molesting with impossible light activity in custody of 2 minor children, 2 little girls, while he's committing a sex offense against a grown woman. Across my buttocks, impossible light that's not going to be caused by his headlights on his little, I'll just call it a hoopty, where he is at gang stalking at stall number 3. And impossible light with the shadow, the pattern of the brick wall that I'm standing at moves across the third-party vehicle and across my person. So I'm going to show you an image of my multiple shadows that are on this brick wall as well, which is showing you that a demon is stalking. And that engineer light that's touching on my person, the perpetual sex offense, is occurring while a third party who is also demon-possessed, as you know, is stalking with light, pursuant to knowledge about who you are, doing so while gang stalking and making a purchase at a facilitating venue. The federal RICO case, the criminal engagement by MOBIL at 2315 South Euclid Avenue, that is gang stalking me as a corrupt business with the employees and the gang stalking patrons, all on behalf of the state. It's currently 10:37 p.m. That's P.O.C. While the entity is not stalking as strangers, they are stalking again. And that level of malice, however, that's exactly why the people of the state are going to be subject to the federal laws in the way in which it's going to be executed in prosecution of the state of California. It's 10:38 p.m. P.O.C.